What's going on YouTube? Kamikazevondoom here with another Division 2 build video. Now today is going to be your election day build. It is November 3rd and it is election day here in the United States. Now obviously if you don't live in the USA it's not election day for you, so it's just going to be another build video. But obviously I have to tell everyone out there, if you are eligible to vote and you live in What's going on YouTube? Kamikazevondoom here with another Division 2 build video. Now this is going to be your election day build. It is November 3rd, 2020, and here in the United States, it is election day. It doesn't really matter to me who you vote for, as long as you vote. Just remember that if you are eligible to vote and you are in the United States, make sure you vote today. Doesn't really matter. You could vote for Kanye West for all I care, as long as you cast your vote. That's the biggest thing. But alright, enough about that, and let's get into the build video. Shout out to the DoD Disciples of Doom. Now, this has been it's been asked about in the comment section for several build videos now. My last handful of builds or so have all been revolved around the Ridgeway's chess piece, and that's because there are so many different variants that you can use with this chess piece. It's actually pretty nice. You could basically throw whatever gear set, whatever weapons you want with it, and it does just fine. So there's a few more variants I want to show you guys this week, and this is one that was actually requested by you guys. And the best part is you can buy this weapon at the DZ East vendor right now. So let's jump into it. This is the election day build. It is True Patriot because hey-o, you got to show your patriotism. And it is featuring the Carnage. Carnage is that named LMG with Perfect Sadist. I believe it's a named Negev. In this one, you can buy at the DZ East vendor right now. Today was also the weekly vendor reset, and they're selling this LMG right here at the DZ East entrance. So back to the build, let's get into a good location. So back to the build, we are looking at the Carnage with Perfect Sadist. So instead of that 20% weapon damage you get to bleeding enemies, it's 25%. The Negev, way back when it was first released in the Division 2, had a very high total damage and RPM. And what they did is they actually nerfed the hell out of this weapon and the normal variant, the Negev, to where it's almost unbearable. Yeah, the RPMs are still there. Yeah, the mag size is still there. But the lack of weapon handling and now the lack of damage, it makes it to where the Negev and this weapon right here, the Carnage, is just not that fun to run. I like I said before in the comment section, it has been requested quite a bit, so I decided to come up with a Carnage version. And it is kind of fun to run, especially in PVE. But when you're talking about Ridgeway builds and PvP, this is well below average, in my opinion. And let's talk about why. And yes, this is not normal. I don't just normally show you guys a build and then just go out of the gate and start talking about the negatives. But I have to say that yes, Carnage on paper looks amazing. The 25% to bleeding enemies, and then you run that with the True Patriot and the Ridgeway. Obviously, you can use the Eclipse bag right now and take advantage of that amplified damage. It does do damage. I'm not playing devil's advocate about that. My problem with this weapon, not really the build, it's more the weapon, is that there's better options out there. So looking just on paper, the Carnage versus just my FAMAS, for example. So you can see that the FAMAS on paper looks way better than Carnage. Yes, the Carnage has, mag size on its side. Yes, it does have that extra 5% weapon damage from the talent, but total damage is lacking. RPMs are a little bit lacking, and it feels heavy. The reload is horrible. Weapon handling is horrible. The range in which you have to shoot is very specific. So if you are used to playing with Carnage, then by all means, this is going to be a great build. However, for me personally, I would probably rather go with like the Pestilence or the FAMAS or the Vector or, even the P416. I think I've got a pretty dirty P416 with Sadist right here. That would be nice. But even still, you can see, let's switch that to this. But even still, if you compare the P416 to Carnage, you can see that it's still, I don't know, it still seems like it's a better option. Carnage is just not there anymore. Ever since, when they first released the Negev and everyone was running RPM LMG builds with the Negev, and then they nerfed it to hell, it kind of ruined the Carnage in my opinion. But let's move on with this build. So I am using the Technician. You can use whatever it is you want. Obviously, Gunner would probably bump up your ammo even more, which is fine. I believe you can get up to 190 rounds in one magazine for the LMG, but I don't know. So what I went with is I went with RPMs. You can see right here in the belt, I went with a 5% rate of fire. Reason being is I have found in PvP specifically that this weapon just underperforms. It doesn't feel good. I know that in certain aspects or certain situations I'll come out on top, but I feel that it's more my build than it is this weapon, because like I've been probably saying for the last 2-3 minutes here, it just doesn't feel like it's the best weapon out there. Not at all. Not by long shots. In fact, I would probably go as bold as to saying I would rather use the Pestilence. I would rather use, even like a infantry MG5 with Sadist, I bet would probably feel a lot better than this LMG. It just seems that it's just not there. But anyways, the other attachments I'm using are all crit based. So crit chance across the board, and then rate of fire for that belt. Now, the other things I wanted to add for the Technician is I'm using that for the 1 skill tier and for the skill damage, because I want to use my skills to catch my enemies on bleed. That way I can take advantage of the Sadist from any distance, whether it be with my LMG, my AR, or even up and close with my shotgun. I just want to make sure they are on bleed at all times, because if they're not on bleed, I'm not getting all that extra damage from the build. Yes, I can still put them on full flag. Yes, I can still, do this and that. But if they're not getting caught on that bleed, then, there goes half of the build in itself. So getting them to bleed is priority. Not a lot of people are running Hazard. I know everyone in their MF and mom wants to say, oh, I'm running a Hazard build. Well, you're one of the only ones. Because a lot of people are running status effects. A lot of people are still running shield builds. And a lot of people are running either shotguns or Lady Death combinations. Rarely do I see a hazard protection build, because in the end, if you're facing someone that has either a damage build or, a shield build, something of that sort, and you're running a hazard build, there's no reason for you to even have hazard on, because a lot of people are still just running damage, and they're going to melt through you because you're worried about the Ridgeway builds. So there's really, there's no sense of even running hazard, to be honest. But never say never. I do have a hazard protection Ridgeway build I'll be releasing this week as well, so stay tuned to that. But alright, so Technician gives me the skill tier and skill power just for my skills. I want to get them on bleed more than usual. You can put on Gunner for the med kit and the bigger belt size for the LMG. I believe you can knock that thing up to 190. Let's see. Go over here, go to Gunner. Oh, 195. My mistake. So you could actually get up to 195 mag size. That's pretty dope. But if you did that, I would probably just say run all blues with the Ridgeway, so 5 blues, because obviously you can't roll the Ridgeway's Pride as a blue core attribute. But if you rolled all the other ones to it, say you get around 1.7 million armor, and then bump that mag size up to that 195, you could probably have fun doing that as well. But I've also noticed that with the current time to kill in Title Update 11.1, it's so fast that I actually hate running armor builds, because unless you're running like the stupid armor regen build or something of that sort, there's no reason to be tanky, because people with damage are just going to run through that just as fast as they normally will. So you just have to just bear with it. That's just the way it is. Armor as a whole concept in this video game is horrible. There is absolutely no difference between running 1.5 and 1.7 million armor. It doesn't matter. And in fact, I'd probably say between 1.3 and 1.7, there's not a big difference either, except for your lack of damage. Just, PvP, the lower time to kill, it just seems like the guys with the biggest, bang for their buck are going to end up winning. So damage, in my opinion, is more important than armor. Luckily, with this build, you're doing both. You're getting amplified damage, you're getting bleed damage, you're getting perfect sadist damage, and you're getting true patriot damage. Not only that, but you're taking less damage with true patriot, and you're healing yourself with true patriot. So there's a lot of really good advantages running this build. My only caveat is the carnage. I'm just not a big fan of it. I know a lot of you have requested it, and it's fun and all. I'll show you guys some gameplay, but in my opinion, I'd rather run something else. Now, to my secondary, I'm running the FAMAS. This is actually a God-rolled FAMAS. I just got in the summit yesterday. This one's at 75.1k total damage, 900 RPMs, and a 65 round magazine. Obviously, the 65 round magazine is from the True Patriot. So all of you that are in the comment section asking about the mag size and why you're only getting 40 something rounds and whatnot, it's because of the True Patriot. Just put on the True Patriot and then look at your build. Now, as far as the attributes, max AR damage, max health damage, and max damage to armor. I rolled on their Sadist for obvious reasons. I'm running the Ridgeway's Pride chest piece. Now for the attachments, again, I was going more crit based. So rugged mini reflex, laser pointer, and the muzzle brake, all crit chance. For the magazine, I went with the sturdy extended to bump up that magazine size to 65. And then the sidearm is the double barrel sawed off. This one's at 1.1 million total damage with max shotgun damage, 10% damage to armor, and 4.5 rate of fire. But the real reason I'm running this is for Sadist again, so I get that damage to targets that are bleeding. Again, this entire build is revolved around the chest piece, the Ridgeway's Pride. So to get this chest piece, you have to go through the summit. There is no real ways of getting around it. You have to grind the summit. You will get one piece between floors 0 and 10, or 0 and 20. Yep, 0 to 20. You will get a piece. Floors 20 to 40, you'll get a piece. 40 to 60, 60 to 80, and then 80 to 100. There are 5 exotic parts in total. So you have to make sure you have all 5 parts on your person before beating the summit, because once you beat the summit, you will be able to get the quest or project, if you will. And then you finish that project, it'll give you the blueprint, and then all of those exotic parts that you got throughout the summit, you will be able to use at the crafting table to use the blueprint and craft your own chess piece. But yeah, that's a short version of how to get it. Now, what makes this chess piece so cool is the talent Bleeding Edge. Shooting an enemy within 15 meters applies a bleed to that target. You will also get armor regen if you keep the enemy bleeding around you within that 15 meters. So running something like armor regen and like creeping death would be pretty cool. I'll probably show you guys a version of that here shortly. But we're not really worried about the armor regen aspect of this. The only thing we want is that apply bleed to the target. That way we can utilize all the extra damage within this build. Now, as far as the attributes are concerned, 15% weapon damage, 5% crit chance, 11.1 crit damage, and then for that mod slot, I threw on their crit chance at 5.2%. Getting through the other gear items, starting off with the mask. I am running 4 pieces of True Patriot, so we have to get through the gear set bonuses. So I get 30% ammo capacity, I get 30% magazine size, and then I get the 4-piece talent. This gives you the flags, and it gives you the full flag capability. Now, looking here on the right side of your screen, 4 pieces gives you red, white, and blue. Every 2 seconds, your enemies you shoot will receive a debuff. It'll either be red, white, or blue. They are little indicator flags above their heads, so when you shoot them, you will know exactly which debuff or buff you get. So, for example, red flag amplifies the enemy's damage taken by 8%. So you're getting 8% amplified damage. White repairs the agent's armor. So if I'm shooting you and you have a white flag over your head, I am healing myself while shooting you. And then finally, the blue flag that decreases the enemy's damage they deal by 8%. I don't know if that one's amplified or if that one's just normal, but it just says decreases their damage. And then what we like about this build is the full flag. At the end of this video, I'll show you some gameplay. I actually get full flag on a shield build. When I kill him, he explodes, it does a little fireworks, and I actually downed the other enemy right next to him with that explosion. It was pretty wicked. I liked it. So stay tuned at the end of this video. I'll show you guys those clips. They're pretty funny. But anyways, full flag. Enemies that die while under the effect of all 3 debuffs create a 5-meter explosion. This deals damage equal to their health and armor. So for example, I was shooting a shield build that had a lot of armor. When I killed him, the explosion that I just talked about, that was dealing damage equivalent to that tank. So it was basically automatic kill to anyone around him. Pretty sick. I loved it. Anyways, this is the True Patriot mask. This one comes with 168k armor for the core attribute. I rolled max crit damage, and then for that mod, I threw on their crit chance at 5.1%. Getting to the backpack, this is the Eclipse Protocol bag. Only reason I am using this is because it has that active talent, Symptom Aggravator. This amplifies all damage you deal to status affected targets by 30%. That doesn't matter if it's a skill, weapon, anything. Amplifies your damage. That's awesome. I'm telling you guys. So for this bag, I have max weapon damage at 15%, crit damage at 10.3, and then for the mod slot, I threw in there more crit damage at 11.8. So this is basically a True Patriot Ridgeway build with crit. A lot of crit for LMG at least. True Patriot gloves, max armor, 170k, and then crit damage at 10.5. True Patriot knee pads, again, max armor, 170k, and then 3.5 crit chance. And then finally, True Patriot holster, again, max armor, 170k, and then 5.2 crit chance. So overall, I have 1.5 million armor, 297k health, just under 64k base damage for the Carnage, and I'm running that with the Explosive Seekers and the Stinger Hive. But remember, I am running Technician, so I do get the 1 skill tier and skill damage from the specialization. So my Explosive Seeker is hitting at 272k PvP damage and 9.6k PvP bleed damage. And then the Stinger Hive, just under 95k PvP damage and then just under 9k PvP bleed damage. And let's finish off with the stat sheet. Alright, so this is for the Carnage, and we are all worried about the PvP. So PvP damage, 21.2k for the PvP weapon damage. That's reason 97,402 on why I don't like the Carnage. Really, really low PvP damage. But anyways, what I did to try to help that, I'm at 49% crit chance, 100% crit damage, 67% headshot damage. I do have some health damage, and then I have the damage to targets at a cover. Offensive tab, 40% all weapon damage bonus, and then for the LMG, 30% damage bonus on top, so 70% every time I use the Carnage. Defensive tab, remember I'm at 1.5 million armor, 297k health. I've got a little bit of health regen, don't really care. And then the 10% explosion and hazard protection, and that's from my watch level. So remember, I do this at this point of every single one of my build videos. Remember, your watch level does matter. Whether it be for crit, whether it be for your armor, whether it be for your hazard, it doesn't matter. Based off of your watch level, some of your numbers might be higher or lower than what I'm showing you right now. Reason being is I'm only at a watch level 779. I believe it maxes out around 1,000. I'm not sure yet because I'm not there yet. However, I know that if you have a higher watch level than me, you're going to have higher numbers in certain areas. If you have a lower watch number than me, then I will have higher numbers than you in certain areas. So just factor that in before you start asking me in the comment section below. Just factor that in that, hey, if you're a watch level 300 and I'm a watch level 700, I might have, higher numbers for like crit, weapon damage, armor, stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. Besides that, this is my election day build. It is the Carnage with Ridgeway and True Patriot. I am running the Eclipse Protocol bag because why not? It's not broken, and the developers keep saying that it works as intended, so why not? But yeah, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. I hope you hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I'm Kamikazevondoom, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. And yeah, enjoy the gameplay. See you.
System restored. Agent down.
Descent to specialization supply drop warning.
Immediate medical assistance needed. Agent down. Agent killed.
Friendly claiming the supply drop.
Rogue Stinger Hive detected.
The specialization supply drop was just picked up by a friendly.
An agent needs assistance. Rogue striker drone detected. Agent down.
You don't have many reinforcements left.